York's classic rock, Q1043.
I welcome again, and it's always an honor to welcome FDNY Commissioner Daniel Nigro. I always preface these conversations, and I do not exaggerate, the greatest honor of my life, and this will be one of the greatest memories of my life, was standing in front of you as you swore me in as an honorary battalion chief of the FDNY. Never a higher honor, and I thank you for that. And the reason that I've asked FDNY Commissioner Nigro to join us today is because he will be retiring as of February 16th. He was the 33rd FDNY Commissioner in the 150-year history of the FDNY, and he's only one of 6 to have held every rank in the FDNY. First of all, Commissioner, how does it feel to be almost retiring?
Well, I'd have to say it's bittersweet. I'm looking forward to a life after the department, but it's tough to leave after all these years. But then again, you never really leave the fire department. I'll always be a part of the fire department family, and I'll be there to support the department.
What are your plans?
Oh, I don't know. I'll try to put some of my experiences down on paper. We'll see how that works out, and perhaps do some public speaking, and certainly do a little traveling if COVID allows.
You know, you were with the department as chief of department, the highest ranked uniform position, and elevated on September 11th to that position after the death of Chief Peter Gansey Jr. You led the FDNY in its absolutely darkest days in the rescue and recovering following September 11th. I cannot imagine how, I know you kind of you compartmentalize, you have a job to do. How did you ever get through that time and lead so well? Because you did.
Well, I didn't do it alone, for sure. You know, I had a great department, great support within the department. I have a strong family, strong faith. I think all of us that survived that day and moved on carry that in our hearts. We always will. And there's a certain part of us that will always be sad. I mean, I took over as chief only because of the death of a dear friend, which I don't even know how to explain how that feels. And it was the most difficult year, but the department was knocked down and we weren't knocked out. We got back up, and the department today is better than ever.
This is exactly when you heard the news about Chief Gansey. What were you doing?
Well, I had survived the collapse of both towers, and on the way back to the command post location, because I was on the other side of the building, one of a mutual friend of Pete and I told me Pete was missing. And as soon as he said that, knowing Pete, I knew he was rushing in to save someone, which he was, and we would find him, but we wouldn't find him alive.
And where were you when the news came down about the attacks?
Well, right where I'm sitting right now, just one floor below, in Chief Gansey's office, we heard the plane hit. It was across the river, but we felt that this building here in Brooklyn shook when the first plane struck. So we immediately jumped in the car, Pete Gansey and I, and raced to that location. And I told him on the way there, this will be the worst day of our lives. And I wasn't predicting what actually happened, but I knew it was going to be very difficult, and it was much more difficult than I could have imagined.
I am speaking with FDNY Commissioner Daniel Nigro. He will be retiring as of February 16th after, well, holding every rank with the FDNY. So the FDNY was in your blood, right? Your father was with the FDNY. Was your grandfather as well?
No, it started with my father when he came back from the Pacific in World War II. He entered the department, and I tell people the department was at our kitchen table every day, every night. I knew a lot about the department. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I guess it was always in the back of my head that my father was happy with what he did, and I was always looked up to him. And I said, well, maybe I'll do that also. And at 21, I entered the department. And we were together in the department for more than 7 years before he retired, which was interesting.
I'm sure that was very special, but he must have busted your chops.
Well, he certainly, not so much that way, but he led me in the right direction. You know, I felt he was a captain, that I should study and be a captain. And he told me how hard I'd have to study. And I followed his direction, and here I am.
I don't even know if you have siblings. Do you have siblings?
I have a sister whose son is joined the fire department also. So I guess you could say it's the third generation. He's my father's grandson. And my sister's daughter married a firefighter, and both of my daughters married firefighters. So it's somewhat the family business.
Now, if you hadn't joined the FDNY, what other careers were you considering as a young man? And you grew up in Bayside, right?
I did. You know, I went to Baruch College and I was studying finance, and I thought, you know, I would work on Wall Street and become very wealthy. But the allure of the fire department was too strong for that. I did finish my education at Baruch, but which I think helped me along the way in the fire department for sure.
You oversaw the merger of the ambulance corps with the FDNY. A lot of people around the country, when I mention that the EMS is under the FDNY, they're surprised. Why was that decision made? Why is that a good decision?
Well, first we trained our firefighters to become first responders, medical first responders, to assist in the response time here in the city, which was troublesome before the merger. And we felt that merging the ambulance service with the fire department would benefit both, which it has with coordination. And right now, the EMS part of the department is twice as large as EMS was before the merger. And I think the proof of everything that I saw a few Sundays ago at the tragic fire in the Bronx that took 17 lives was how trained firefighters and very skilled EMTs and paramedics worked together, because it was a terrible day, 17 lives lost, but 32 people were taken out of that building in respiratory and cardiac arrest. And that group that was saved because of the skill and coordination of our members. So if anyone's looking for a proof of why this merger has worked, that's just a big example. But it has worked for the past more than 25 years. And EMS is fully a part of our family and welcome in our department. And I hope for the best for EMS as they go forward, seeking better wages and working conditions. They certainly deserve it.
I was just about to bring that up, because this is what I hear from the uniformed officers of the EMS, the union, that isn't the starting pay something like $25,000 or $30,000, and there's no parity when it comes to sick leave and everything else. I don't understand that. I mean, I don't understand certainly the benefits not being the same. What's being done to try to...
All these things are negotiated by their unions with the city Office of Labor Relations. The last contract that was settled was certainly the best that they've received in quite some time. But I think there's still a long way to go. And I think there are ways to improve working conditions and salaries for our very valued EMS folks.
One of the reasons people join the EMS is because they want to ultimately become uniformed firefighters. And that's one way to fast track, correct? I mean, this is not an easy position to get necessarily.
It is. There's a promotion exam from EMS to fire. I think really it should be a two-way street there, that folks enter the department as EMTs and can either become paramedics or firefighters with similar salaries and benefits for both of those. And I think that's a solution. I think it's a solution to the issue.
We already know your darkest day with the FDNY, certainly September 11th. What was your best day with the FDNY?
Probably the day I received a letter when I was 21 years old that said, report to high school of, I think it was Fashion on the West Side, and be sworn in as a member of the New York City Fire Department. And the excitement I felt that joining this group of people that I had some experience with through my father, it was as if I was going from this world of school, and living at home, probably still not as mature as I should be, to becoming a firefighter, which changed my whole way of thinking and life and discipline, etc. It was a happy day, and I've been happy to have been part of the fire department now since 1969.
When you were 21 years old, and you have such respect among the ranks because you held every rank. But this year in particular has been a challenge, not only because of the fires and the most recent one where we lost 17 civilians, but because of the backlash you faced with the Vax Mandate. That must have been difficult for you. You have to carry out the edict of the mayor.
You know, commissioners serve at the pleasure of the mayor, and whether I agreed with the mandate or not, but I did agree with it. We've been with the COVID for 2 years now, and really I felt the only way we'd get past this was if everyone was vaccinated. So there were those in the department who fought against and still fighting against the mandate. We are now at 95% vaccination within the department. And those who just couldn't comply are a handful, and I wish them well, but I still believe that mandating people to be vaccinated, especially we go into people's homes, we treat them medically, we respond 4,000 times a day to medical calls, much like hospital workers who need to be vaccinated. We are the tip of the spear of medical care in the city of New York, firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics. And for their sake, for their family, and for the people we come in contact with, we should do what Pope Francis himself said is a moral obligation that people have to be vaccinated.
We only have about a minute left. FDNY Commissioner Nigro, is there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't covered today?
Well, first, what we started was you're an honorary battalion chief because of your great support for our department, and we thank you for that. And our way of thanking our great supporters is by making you a part of our family, and we're happy to have you as one of us. I think I will, on the 16th, when I walk out of this building, I will walk out with my head held high. I did the best certainly the best I could. There are always things that you feel you could have done better, but I'm proud of my career. I'm proud of what I've accomplished, and I wish whoever will be my successor I will tell them, you're the luckiest person on earth to get this job to lead the greatest department in the world.
Amen to that. And thank you for all you have done, and I'm sure all you will continue to do to serve the public of New York City. FDNY Commissioner Daniel Nigro, it's been an honor working with you and knowing you as a person, and I look forward to a continued relationship. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for
My
everything.
pleasure.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.